Lush green fells, picture-perfect villages, tumbling waterfalls, farmyard animals, and of course, the lakes that it's named after. Welcome to the English Lake District. Today, I'll share with you my favourite walks. Some easy, some moderate, some challenging, but all with their own personalities. Orrest Head, a walk for an arrival day. The start of the Orrest Head Trail is a stone's throw from Windermere train station, with a relatively short and not too high path which winds through charming woodlands to reach the top. The effort to reward ratio is exceptional. On a clear day, the view from the top showcases Lake Windermere and a range of pikes, crags, stickles and fells, including Coniston Old Man, Scafell Pike, Harrison Stickle and Loughrigg Fell. Aira Force, a walk for the families. The car park is a short amble from the main attraction, Aira Beck, a thundering 65-foot drop waterfall. This means that tiny legs can make it there too. The trail goes through stunning glades and the area has toilets and food facilities too. Tarn Hows, a walk for everyone, including those with limited mobility. A flat, compacted gravel path circles the picture-perfect Tarn Hows, making it suitable for prams, pushchairs, wheelchairs and mobility scooters. Trampers or off-road personal mobility vehicles can be borrowed free of charge. This ensures that everyone is able to enjoy the beauty of the Tarn and its surrounding foliage. Facilities at the car park include accessible toilets. Keswick to Threlkeld Old Railway line for a walk with a story. Despite the longer length of this walk in comparison to other easy trails, I class this as being easy because, like you'd expect from an old railway line, it's beautifully flat. Much of this route was damaged in the 2015 floods, but almost £8 million of funding has seen the historic Bobbin Mill Tunnel reopened and the trails and bridges either repaired or rebuilt. Information boards about both the old and recent history are dotted along the old railway path, telling an interesting story as you progress. Cat bells via the Keswich Launch for a walk with a twist. Head to the shores of Derwent Water and hop onto the Keswich Launch, a beautiful wooden boat that will take you past pretty islands, and in the summer, plenty of people enjoying sports on the lake. The ferry drops you off at Hawes End, where you can then begin the popular walk up Cat Bells. Most of the route offers magnificent views thanks to the low vegetation, and the trail offers the option of scrambling in some places or taking the easier to navigate path off to the side. Walla Crag via Ashness Bridge for a walk full of flora and fauna. Whilst Walla Crag offers stunning views out across Derwent Water and the town of Keswick, our experience of this trail in late summer showcased some of the best flora and fauna in the area. From blackberry picking to add to our breakfasts, through to wild mushrooms, which we decided not to pick due to our lack of knowledge, and the blaze of purple heather at the peak, the flora kept the walk interesting. Fauna isn't as guaranteed, but we were fortunate enough to spot birds of prey and came across our first ever sighting of a slowworm. We originally thought that it was a snake, but later understood what it was. The woods at the foot of Walla Crag are home to deer and red squirrels, though, full disclaimer, we didn't see any here and this footage is from a trip to the Isles of Scilly. Latrigg for a sunset walk. Close to Latrigg is the Under Skiddaw car park. You could walk down to Keswick and spend an afternoon there and begin hiking out of town along the newly renovated Keswick to Threlkeld Railway path a couple of hours before sunset. This section is an easy flat amble with pretty views down onto the roaring river and up onto Blencathra. The history of the railway line and the more recent floods that destroyed part of the trail are well told through information boards. Part of the way along the old railway line, you turn off and begin the uphill walk. Unlike the side of Latrigg closest to Keswick, this route is longer, but the gradient is more gentle. You'll likely walk through herds of curious sheep, and the higher you climb, more sights within the national park will begin to unfold. The views down onto the town of Keswick, Derwent Water and Bass Lake are phenomenal, and then of course it's a very short walk back to the car park. Loughrigg, a walk for dogs. Apart from a small section of path by Loughrigg Tarn, my brother's dog Sam was free to roam off lead for most of this walk due to the trail rarely going through fields of livestock. At the time of completing this walk, it was rated as the #1 hike in the Lake District on all trails, and it was easy to understand why. Good for bird watching, though I appreciate we got especially lucky with how active this heron was. You get up high to have pretty views out onto Grasmere without it being an arduous climb, and you can enjoy the water's edge at Loughrigg Tarn, Grasmere and Rydal Water. Rannerdale Knotts to Scafell Force, a walk for water lovers. Starting at the foot of Rannerdale Knotts, you quickly climb elevation to enjoy the views out across Crummock Water, Buttermere, and peeking between the two fells, the Irish Sea. After the descent, you can stop for a quick packed lunch on the shores of Buttermere before continuing around to Scafell Force. It's a hidden waterfall that rewards adventurers with a plateau inside a bursting with green plants gorge, splitting the waterfall into two sections. On the way back to the car, skirt around Crummock Water, where, if it takes your fancy, you can go for a swim. Buttermere Fells for an epic walk. The Buttermere Valley is one of my favourite areas in the Lake District. A slow, gentle amble along the lakeshore soon turns into a steep climb through a forest, perfect shade if the sun's out. You'll be led through a field of heather right before you reach Bleaberry Tarn. After the Tarn, it's a slightly sketchy scramble to ride Pike before you set off along the ridge line. From here, you've got spectacular views and you may get to watch on as ravens croak and soar above your heads. You'll be able to tick off High Stile, High Crag and the Buttermere Haystacks. The path ranges from flat and grassy to steep descents and scrambling too, but the rewards of tarns and the views onto the valley are unrivalled. Blencathra via Sharp Edge, a walk for when you've got your big girl pants on. Blencathra is an imposing wainwright to the north of the national park. We hiked it via Sharp Edge on an August bank holiday Monday and found it to be considerably more quiet than Helvellyn's Striding Edge. Blencathra's Sharp Edge requires a fair amount of scrambling, and there's a bad step which is not for the faint of heart. Keep 3 points of contact at all times and you'll be just fine. Scafell Pike, a walk for bragging rights. As the highest peak in England, it's a pike that many like to attempt just so that they can say that they've done it. Instead of hiking from Wasdale Head, the most popular starting point, we began at Seathwaite and hiked along the corridor route. Whilst not as picturesque as many of the walks that we have done in the Lake District, it was more impressive than the online bashing of this walk had led me to believe. Andy decided to make it a real challenge by sending us up a route on the OS map that looked a little something like this. though it is possible to skirt past this and join onto the main tourist path for the last section instead. Do you have any hikes in the Lake District that you love and I've not yet mentioned? If so, it would be great if you could share them in the comments below so that other people watching this video can see what else is recommended. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, I'd be ever so grateful if you would consider giving the video a thumbs up, just because it will then help it to spread to others.